All right. All right, here we are. It's Friday. Q&A with Alan and Marshall and Justin today. Coming to you from Eufaula, Oklahoma, Justin Lawrence joining us today. And it's going to be a great show. How are you doing today, Justin?
So good. Happy to be here, guys. I hope that you are doing well.
Doing great. Yeah. We've had a great morning already, Marshall, haven't we?
We've had a fantastic morning, and for me, it's because today it's day one for Shirt Lab Summit. So hopefully everybody has registered and joined, but if you haven't, just go to shirtlabsummit.com and get registered. It's free, which is a price I think everybody can agree with.
Great price.
We have a fantastic lineup this time. We have 33 speakers over the next 2 days. And we have 17 awesome folks sharing stories of their success. And leading the bunch is Mike Mikalowitz, who wrote Profit First and Fix This Now and a whole bunch of really great books. And so that was a really cool interview that Tom did with him. So, and Justin here participated in Shirt Lab Summit last year and also presented at our Shirt Lab live event in St. Louis 2 years ago. So he's no stranger to Shirt Lab. What's your take on what we're doing with Shirt Lab, Justin?
I think it's awesome. I think it's an honest approach, and I appreciate the experts that you guys seek out. And it feels like it's a pretty broad spectrum of things, whether it's business development or operations or sales ideas or protecting yourself or what's going on in the industry. I think it's a good source to get information from.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man. So let's get into the show. But before we do anything, we just want to make sure that if you're watching right now, this is a Q&A thing. So we're going to do a lot of fun things with Justin, but we need to hear from you. So the first thing we like you to do is just simply say hello. So let us know that you're watching. Let us know where you're watching from, your city or your shop name or whatever. And please, please, please share the show with your friends.
Absolutely.
So we can't encourage that enough. We want everybody to watch and let everybody know that you're watching. So there's a share button. Hit that share button. Let people know that you're watching, and we would appreciate that. And then also, if you're watching this as a recording, because I know some people do that, can you please leave a comment on YouTube? Let us know that you're there. And like and subscribe. That would be awesome if you did that as well. So let's say hello to some folks. Kisa is watching from Texas. Good morning. Charles. Hey, Charles. Good morning. Yosa, as always, from Sweden. Jim's here. Hey, how's it going, Jim? Keith Burwell, what's up? And Sean, as usual, is here. So good morning, guys.
We're missing some people. Why do I have a feeling they're watching Shirt Lab Summit?
They probably are.
Oh, it's going to take away from our numbers. It's killing us.
It's okay. It's all right. So what's going on with you these days, Justin? Where are you right now? Give us the scoop.
Yeah, right now I'm down here in Eufaula. It's my hometown and where all of my family's from. And so Eufaula is a small town that's about 2 hours southeast of Oklahoma City. And so that's where our main shop is, and that's where me and my family live. But we've also got a spot down here in Eufaula that we stay at. And so, yeah, there was an opportunity on Main Street to put in a print shop, and my family had several businesses on Main Street over the years, and I thought this could be pretty cool. And so I found a spot, and over the past couple months we've been building out the space, and we're open. We're working on getting the inventory and everything in, but we leave the door unlocked and the lights on so people can come in and start asking questions.
Right. Would you mind walking around a little bit? Just give
you bet.
About what you're doing, because I know you're on your phone.
You bet.
Explain what you want this space to be, because I know some people know Oklahoma Shirt Company, but go on, why the move to this space?
Sure. So, out here, I think that there was an opportunity in this town to generate. There's this cool part of southeastern Oklahoma that I don't want to get hit by a car. So hold on.
Please don't.
That wouldn't be good.
That'd make for great TV, but bad.
This is Main Street. These people think I'm a crazy person. That's all right. I do this a lot. So yeah, down here on Main Street, we put this shirt shop, and there. And so I started with this billboard, that's the front of the building, and wrapped it because I think that again, there's not a lot of businesses down here that offer screen printing. They order online, and people don't do customer service super well down here. So we wanted to build a really great experience. This wall will have we have individual shirts that we'll be selling up here, and this is where all the inventory will be. And then we have shirts that will, fold up down in here. There's Jaron. Say hi to Jaron.
Hey, Jaron.
Yeah, but shirts will be folded up here, and so basically people will pick the shirts that they want up on the shirt wall, and then we'll pull their shirt for them, and we're doing kind of an elevated t-shirt experience. It'll be like the design, and then you'll get some stickers that go along with it. And I think they're on really nice garments. And so I think it'll be like probably $15 a shirt, and really just try to get
what
traffic
garment
down
are
in
you
here.
using, Justin? What's your main go-to blank?
Who's your sponsor for this?
We don't have one yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're free to talk about anything you want.
Yeah, we want you to share what you're doing.
Yeah, we're using Bella Canvas down here on these. We got a boat up in the sky. Here's our exposure unit. It doesn't quite fit in our dark room, but we got Easy Way down here. Easy Way all over. Rocking hard.
That's great. And so what is that, about 1,600 square feet?
It's it's a little bigger than that. It's about 2,400 square feet.
Okay. That's great.
Yep.
And so you're going to be printing while your retail shop is open, kind of like what Jared does in Rockford Art Deli.
Yep, same idea. It will have and I really wanted, again, Main Street's right here, and so I really wanted to put the carousel or the print heads up by the glass because I think that's just super, super charming. But we wanted the retail space, and so we're going to have the print shop in the back. And really how we're going to treat it is my uncle's going to print down here, and we will use this press. We'll outsource a lot from Oklahoma City. So we have embroidery down here. We'll have direct to garment, and we have screen printing. And so if a lot of the jobs that originate out of down here, we hope to print down here. And then obviously if it's like 100 or 200 shirts, or if it's a high color count, or if it's complicated printing, then we'll print it up in the city and then we'll just ship it down here. And then we'll also, if this store isn't busy down here, we can count on this store as like a kind of a outsource to ourselves type place where we have a manual printer down here that, we can generate, can do 5 or 6 jobs a day. It's 25 to 100 shirts each, and can get them back to us. It's kind of the idea.
Right. And this location is what, 2 hours away from your main one, right?
Yep, 2 hours exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Love it when businesses go into smaller local communities to help build up Main Street. That is so great.
Mm-hmm.
And so this project, you started when? Like January, December? Where did the nugget of the idea come from? And then did you really launch it?
Well, I'll say this. I have been paying rent on this building since September.
Okay.
And that doesn't feel super great. But I knew that it takes an enormous amount of energy and effort to get something like this open. And so I put those things in place to make sure that I would, actually do it. I knew if I was paying $1,750 a month in rent in a place that was sitting vacant, that I would be highly motivated to get it open.
Yeah, nothing gets you motivated more than spending money.
Setting money on fire, just burning it.
That's great. That's great. And so you're going to have in this location 1 employee or 2 or something like that?
Yeah, we'll have 2 or 3 employees. There'll be my uncle who will kind of be the anchor and hold down the shop and production and be local feet on the ground. And then we'll have people from Oklahoma City come down, because they want to come to the lake and they want to see what's going on. And we'll have spots for them to work. But we'll also have 1 or 2 employees that will be up here running the retail side. So just hanging out.
Big weekend, you'll have a bunch of people, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's really awesome. Really awesome. Super, super happy for you, Justin. Good job.
And it looked great. The outside, it's very, it's going to make people just driving by going, what the heck is that? So I think it's great signage. I love the interior. Man, I'm looking forward to hearing how this goes. I think it's a great concept.
Cool. Thank you.
Great. So let's get into some comments, and then we have some topics we want to hit. So Greg Kitson's here. Good morning, Greg.
Hey, Greg. I miss Greg.
We have Greg on April 9th. Greg's going to be on the show.
Awesome.
Keith says that Justin, he's been to Eufaula a lot as a kid. His dad was born in Canadian, Oklahoma.
McIntosh County, baby.
John says, love the exposed brick. And Dave says, gentlemen, loosely used. Good morning. Hey,
Dave, that hurts.
The insult, David. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
So let's get to the first topic. And this is something Alan wanted to do. So
yeah,
the topic is getting out of your own way. So, Alan, what are you meaning by that? What's going on?
One of the things we see, and even in my own personal sales area, sometimes we have teams set up, for our company and stuff. And you have to learn to rely on the good people you have. And I see it in shops where sometimes there's an owner, as they're growing, they still want to have their fingers on everything. And this, I wish I could say, Justin, I got this just out of my own mind, but I heard you do an interview talking about your team and as you grow and some of the mistakes you made and how you learned about having to just get out of the way. You have great people. We saw Jaron, who I know is your right-hand guy and the heartbeat and your alter ego behind the scenes. And, can you share about what you've learned about in your business as Oklahoma Shirt Company has grown and continues to grow with new ventures, how you are being the guy in charge, but being out of the way? I don't know if that makes sense.
I think so. It kind of makes sense. I think what you're saying really is how have you gotten out of the way so that your business can be better in spite of you, or that you can scale it, or you can give other people opportunities. And that I recognized early on. I'm good at I'm not good at a lot of things. I'm good at a lot of things, but I'm only good at a lot of things because I'm bold enough and confident enough to just dive headfirst into it. And it's probably more just like stubbornness really than what it is persistence. I just keep doing it until I figure it out. And that only goes so far. If you're a one-man show, or if you want to be with just a few people in a small print shop, then there's a lot of people who can have made a good living off of that. And I remember one of the first trade shows I went to, I heard a guy speaking that was talking about big print shops and automation. And he said, somebody told me a while ago that he was the most profitable, or they were the most profitable when they had 2 automatics. And then he said, I once had 2 automatics and now I have more than that. And I can agree with that statement. And being as someone who has had 2 automatics and has gone past that as well, I recognize that. And the truth is that means that, like, as you get bigger, you have to rely upon more people. And to rely upon more people means you have to get out of the way, and you have to trust other people to step up, and you have to have insulation to let them fail. Yep. You have to be persistent enough to encourage them to succeed. And my struggle is I identify competent people and people that I trust, and maybe I fail at communicating my expectations or what winning looks like. And then I sometimes get frustrated. And so I think the lesson is you really, to set up people for success, if you see a direction or if you have a vision, then own it and communicate those expectations early on and often, and also be prepared to change them and own it if you miss it. But not saying anything, it's a lot harder to do that work. I often think that people will just figure it out on their own. And the truth is more often than not, I'm disappointed because they figure it out on their own, which is how they would figure it out. It's not how I want it done. So if you are a control freak, or if you have a clear vision of something, the more clear you can be about your expectations, the easier it is to get out of your own way and set up other people to succeed within the realm of what it is that you're trying to do.
Right. So in the military, they have a term called commander's intent. Right. So let's just say that we want to capture the bridge, right? And we're going to parachute in way over here, and we're going to snake through the field and go across the woods and go through the town and whatever. Well, during that maneuver, something happens and we can't do what we have planned. But at the end of the day, we want to capture the bridge. That's the only thing that's important. So one of the things that I think a lot of people miss sometimes is transmitting and communicating and articulating the intent of what the result should be. This order has to ship today. That's the intent, right? How do we do it with quality and precision and skill? That's what we want. How do we go about it? If you've hired competent people, let your people do their work and just get out of the way for them to do whatever they're doing. And I know that, like, you know, Jared is your guy, right? You just let him do his thing, right? You don't micromanage that guy, right?
Most of the time.
Yeah. You know, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we think getting out of the way means just having no accountability, and that's not what it is. You know, as the owner of a company, as you're scaling up, there needs to be accountability. There needs to be direction. And as someone that is Oklahoma Shirt Company, it is your heartbeat. It is up to you to share that vision and to share that heartbeat and to create that culture. But then give them the boundaries. And I love what you said of giving them the room to fail.
Yeah.
Right.
Without them being, you know, I'm going to do this wrong, so I'm going to get hammered. And so they're going to play it safe.
Yeah.
And safe does not work.
Right. Right. So we have some comments. Want to make sure we share them. So Andre wants to know, what is your advice for someone who's brand new to the industry?
Me or you, Marshall, or Alan?
Everybody. Let's start with you, Justin. How about that?
What is your advice for someone who is brand new to the industry? I think identify what's like, look at your market first. Don't just screen print because it's easy, or don't just do embroidery or graphic design. Like, look around. You know, I'm down here in southeastern Oklahoma, and this is the part that I've identified because it's underserved. And I know that I'm going to be successful down here just because it's a pond that hadn't been fished in very much.
Right.
You know, and so if you're in LA and you think you're going to start your own, you know, apparel brand, you're a crazy person. It's like a musician moving to Nashville thinking they're going to make it. No, you're better off trying to be in the rock star of a small town. And so I would say, if you're brand new, identify where you can be different and not where you promise something, and don't be the cheapest person in town. Or don't be the fastest, or don't be whatever. Find something that you can identify with, and that's a sustainable business model, and build trust, and versus saying yes to everything. And that would be the other thing too. Like, don't say yes to everything. That was the first 2 years of this business, of us just getting in trouble. If you don't have vinyl, if you can't make vinyl numbers, but yet you do screen printing, then don't say, yes, I'll make your athletic jerseys. No, go find especially if you're new, and if you're going to screen print or do embroidery, the first thing you should do is go to the biggest person in your town that does screen printing or embroidery. And so, like, if you're in Oklahoma and you're starting a new screen printing business, you should email Justin at oklahomashirtcompany.com. I'm for real though. And you should say, hey, I heard you on Shirt Lab, or I heard you on Questions with Alan and Marshall, and I'm starting a new business, and I just want to introduce myself. And because here's the deal, it works both ways.
Yep.
One day they're going to have something that breaks down, and we're going to need to help them. Or one day we're going to need something, and maybe they can help us. Or it's just if you're going to be in that space, it's much better to have friends than enemies. And so be bold and reach out to your local decorator, and don't try to start your business in silence. Like this, that's my favorite thing about this industry and this community, is that we can rely upon each other. And yes, I don't know very many people in Oklahoma that screen print. There are certainly a few shops, and most of my screen printing buddies are outside of the state.
Josh Wiley comes to mind.
Yeah. Josh Wiley at IGG. But the other opportunity is, if you have buddies, it's just you will do yourself a favor, because you're going to need a pint of red ink on a Friday night, or on a Thursday night at midnight, because they need them at 8 o'clock in the morning. Your local supply house isn't going to be able to help you out. You just need buddies, and so make friends with your local decorator.
Co-opetition.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good advice. And mine would be is to write a business plan, right? So I talk to so many people that have reached the plateau whatever that is. They're at $500,000, they're at $1 million or whatever, and they can't bust through to the next level. And that's because they haven't properly identified their ideal customer or written a business plan that's going to help them get to the next level, because they haven't articulated that bullseye. And that's what a business plan is about. It's about being laser focused like a sniper, exactly who we want to go after, instead of anybody who walks in the shop is our customer plan. Right. Which only gets you so far. Right. And just really articulating that with your marketing and everything. That's the reason why a business plan exists. So I always recommend that. And I actually help people write those. And I'm doing that right now with a whole bunch of people. So
mine would be pivot, going more on the technical end, especially if you're getting into screen printing. If you're looking at taking your 401k and buying equipment and opening a screen print shop, and this happens all the time when I was selling equipment, I want to do that. And you go to a trade show when there was trade shows, and someone will take your money. And I would always recommend saying, look, I don't mind you spending $10,000, $20,000 on equipment, but before you do that, I would recommend you go and make sure this is what you want to do. That screen printing is not digital direct to garment. It's not digital. It's not embroidery. It's not direct to garment. It is manufacturing, and there's a process. Right. And if you don't understand that going into it, that learning curve is huge before profitability. So I would say, look, I would rather you spend $300, $400, $500, make the investment, go to a training school. Terry Combs, when he does them at Workhorse, or Bill Rediker at Tech Support, or Vastec has a great
Atlas in Chicago, right?
Someone, and learn that. And that way you can go, okay, now that curve, when you make that investment, that curve is going to be less. Or you can go, boy, I'm glad I spent $1,000. I didn't spend my whole.
I would even argue just outsource everything for the first year and learn to sell.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Learn to, because sales is the lifeblood of your business. And if you can't sell, it doesn't matter how good of a printer you are.
And that goes back to know your market, know what you're doing, have a business plan, build your customer base.
Right.
Hook up with someone that can contract with you. If it's in Oklahoma, call Justin or whatever.
Right. Sure.
Absolutely. Great question.
So Heather says, good morning. She stopped watching Shirt Lab Summit to watch you guys. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Heather.
Hey, how do you like the summit so far? Please leave a comment. Would love to get that opinion. Yeah. Ray says, overhead costs keep on ticking. Biggest contributor to the cost of the print.
That's Ray answering the question. Ray Smith from Wilflex. I believe said Aviant.
Yeah. Nobody can remember Aviant.
Yeah, I almost said Poly One, but yeah.
Yosta says, as long as everything goes exactly how I want it, I'm totally flexible. That's really hilarious. Greg says, agree 1,000%. Provide the tools and resources necessary for someone to do the agreed upon job, and then get the hell out of the way, I guess, and let them do it. You must have recourse paths, but let them do the job. And he also says, do what you enjoy. Hire someone to do the things you don't enjoy.
And I think that's so right, because as I've worked for companies and been in them, I see owners where owners can do certain things that nobody else can do. Yeah. Justin, you can provide vision. You're looking down there going, oh, we need to move to Ofala or Eufaula and stuff. Jared's not going to do that. That's going to be your call and stuff. He can advise you on it. I'm sure you bounce it off of them, but do that. But for you to do that correctly, you got to have people doing other stuff that they can do. So
Carla says hello from Chicago.
My buddy Carla.
Watching from Oklahoma. Got another.
There he is.
Another Okie. David says, surround yourself with damn good people and earn their trust. This will make all the difference in the world in your business.
You know what? And none of us, Justin, I love that. None of us know everything. Surround yourself with people who know more than you.
Yeah. Heather says, for Shirt Lab Summit, love it. I'm learning so much. Love that I can start and stop videos as customers come into the shop. Great. And then John says, same, right? So let's get to the second topic, which is learning to change. So you're doing that right now with opening this new location. You're changing. So why is it important, do you think, Justin, to change and not just stick with what you've been doing forever?
That's what they say is the definition of insanity, right? Keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it is?
But we've always been doing it this way. We've always done it this way.
This is what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends on what your goals are for yourself and for your business and for the people that you're employing. You know, if you're trying to build a rocket ship that you want to shoot to the moon, and at the end of your life you're going to land on the moon, then that's one thing. That's what Elon Musk is doing, right? You throw everything you have into building this thing to get ready for this moment, and whatever that moment is, for some people, that moment might be, having the biggest shop in their state, or that moment might be, I want to make $1 million. I want to generate $1 million in revenue, or that might be, I want to make $1 million this year. And those are two very different things. But I think that I think you have to change, because that's what we do as humanity. You know, that's like, we're getting better, we're getting different. There's new tech, and it's not even about technology. It's about, I think it's funny that I am what the French call this weird animal that's known as a millennial. And I'm an elder millennial, I'm finding out. And then there's this new species of human being that has begun walking on the earth that's called Gen Z. Yes. And I employ a few of these things, and they are awesome. And what I'm being facetious, but my point is like, you have to change for the people that you employ. You have to change for the customers that you're selling to. You have to change the way in which you do business, sometimes to be more sustainable or responsible. You have to change the way in which you do business, because sometimes it makes you more money to do something. And you might have to change, like we're buying a DTG machine again. I bought a brand new DTG machine, and we had it for like 6 months, and then I got rid of it. And I said, I'm never buying this thing again. And here I am 2 years later buying another DTG machine, because you have to accept the fact that this industry is changing, and you have to accept the fact that the world is changing all of the time. Part of the reason why we can come down to Eufaula and be successful is because this town moves slow, and there's not a lot of people, and there's not a lot of change. And so we can come down here, and we can put up bright vinyl on the windows, and I can put neon on the walls and bring this posh LA luxe elevated retail experience to this small town. And it'll blow their minds, because they've never seen anything like this. And, there's even tension with my family and people that come in here that says, well, why did you do this like this? Or that doesn't make very much sense. Or you should have done it like that. Or people that drive by, they're like, oh, look at all this money they've spent. They've spent all this money down here. I can't believe they're not going to make any of that back. And it's just going to be another thing that goes out of business. Well, you're right. We're not going to make all of this money back down here. How they think we're selling $10 t-shirts off the wall. That's what they think. And the truth is, that's not what we're doing. I'm creating a culture. I'm creating a hub. I'm creating a vibe for this town. And I'm creating something that's a platform that then people will just be talking about what it is that we're doing. Right. They're not going to talk about screen printing. They don't even know that we're screen printing in here. They just think that we're we're a mall store that's going to be on Main Street. And it's also going to be the place where we hope that people come to, learn to get signs and banners, and learn how to get disc golf supplies, and learn how to get whatever it is that they're doing, and also be a champion in this town. So we're changing down here. And by doing that, we're going to change the face of this town, because we're going to help bring them, into the future. And this is what happens. Like, LA and New York City sets trends that then trickle down to the Chicagos and Dallases. And then they trickle out to the Oklahoma cities and the, Omahas, and then it just keeps trickling down. And so this is us coming in and influencing this town. And I think it'll be cool.
It's the blue ocean strategy in Oklahoma.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So we have some comments. Want to just make sure we get to them. Frank says Mike Mikalowitz was great. Yeah, I thought so also. And if you don't know who he is, he wrote Profit First and a whole bunch of really great books. So thank you, Frank. And thank you, by the way, for your song suggestion for our Shirt Lab soundtrack. I appreciate you doing that. So Daryl says, find a mentor that believes in you and you will go far. Exactly, Daryl. And Jeff Train, who is in Shirt Lab Summit, he's on day 2. It says, tell Justin his shop looks great, but he needs some jerseys, premium blend, and snow heather tees, because, he works for jerseys. So
Send me some, Jeff. Send me some.
Yeah, I love that snow heather tee. It's probably my favorite shirt, by the way. David says, business killer, we have always done it this way. In other words, I'm ignorant to improvements in better ways and don't care.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's where your apathy shows up.
Right.
And typically it's with that screen printer who's been printing for 20 years and his brain just is switched off. It's not even working. Ray's here. He says, I'm a boomer and proud. I didn't know that, Ray. Stay hungry, stay foolish. Steve Jobs on changing constantly.
Yep.
Exactly. John says, creating the vibe in a small town and bringing something cool was a huge plus that we jumped on. The locals love having artist friends they know they can depend on. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Thanks, John. I love that. Really great learning to change. And, here's the thing is Shirt Lab was my change, right? So it all came about on the first ThreadX that was in Palm Springs, sitting around in eating breakfast on day 2. Remember that breakfast they had outside?
Yep, on the first one.
At our table with Tom and a bunch of folks, and we were discussing, as we do in this industry, bitching, what's wrong with this industry? And everybody kind of decided the industry does a pretty good job of printing, but it's the sales and marketing stuff where everybody kind of fails and doesn't really get it, and there really isn't good training. And the reason why everybody was there for ThreadX was to learn stuff like that. And so that's where that grew, and it launched just because Tom and I just couldn't. It was like that scab on your knee you keep picking. We just kept talking about it, and I wrote a business plan, and there we go. And then that year we had our first Shirt Lab in Columbus. And so that's where that change came from. So
ThreadX was the same way. It was out of a discussion, and Brett Bowden was the champion of that. And
right.
I still think I'm sad, and Justin, I think you'll agree, I'm sad that ThreadX, this year wasn't there, and it was just an incredible event. I think it was always well planned. And I say that because Justin and I had parts in we're privileged to be on that team to help it grow out there. And it was just it was an event like I've never seen in our industry before in 30 years. And it just blew me away. It was incredible.
Right. Right.
And that's where, talk about getting out of the way. I was older than a lot of those guys. I listened to this and I'm thinking, I don't know, but this sounds cool. So I'm just following their lead. How can I jump in? How can I help? And it was so glad. It was incredible.
Yeah, I think that it always comes back to the idea, if you want different results, you have to do things differently.
Yep.
And and that means you have to give yourself license to fail and screw things up and break stuff. And Justin, how many times over your career have you failed at something and it was just, oh my God. And it wasn't failure, right? It's data about how to do something differently because now right?
Yeah, a lot. And it's, the hard thing is the more I recognize that I'm playing with fire, the more humbling it gets. A lot of my mistakes is because I don't screen print. I don't make t-shirts. I don't design very much anymore. I'm not involved in that. I'm really managing 48 people and figuring out cash flow problems and paying bills and trying to leverage our business to better our business and trying to do stuff down here. So what I find is that my mistakes are pretty costly. Often my mistakes often come at the expense of other people's careers, is a thing that I'm kind of latching on to. I mess up and I piss somebody off, or I say something I shouldn't have said. I can do a lot of damage with that. And so I'm trying to make sure that I am, speaking softly and, not speaking as much. I'm a bit of a verbal processor. And so I try to only do that with people I know that it's safe to do that with, because I can also just give other people the wrong ideas of what might be happening just because I'm trying to figure out what the next best
Right.
thing to do is.
Okay.
And that's
good. That's a good observation.
I think of some of that verbal processes too, Justin. I'm trying to learn as my years go on. And what's the verse? Wise as a serpent, gentle as a dove. And for me, that's very rough to do sometimes. But yeah.
Cool. So if you're watching right now, please share something that you've learned about change. And we'd love to get those stories in the comments. Or if you've got a question for me or Alan or Justin, let's get that going. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what are you doing to change? I mean, what's going on? And, love to hear that.
Yeah, Josiah says, burn like a fire that gives warmth and comfort to the room, not one that damages and destroys. Oh, great comment.
Oh, that's great.
That's good.
Man, talk about ThreadX. Remember, most people I knew Josiah before, but meeting him at ThreadX and the impact he made. He had the coolest, people still talk about that business card. It was cool. And there's a guy over the years who has just, changed and morphed and looked at his business going, what do we do best? And absolutely. So,
hey, Josiah, you were sharing in Shirt Lab Tribe the other day your box that you were sending to all your clients. How did that go? Because that's change, right? You're doing something new. Share how that went, how the impact was that, and what you learned from it. That would be really awesome. Type in a comment. I'd love to know how that worked. So let's get to our next. There you go. Thanks. Hold that up again, Alan. I was reading. There you go. That looks great. So Justin, Josiah printed that himself.
What, that box?
Yeah. And Chip, open it up and show the inside flap, Alan. So he has a custom QR code for each recipient of the box that links to a video that he made for the recipient. I mean, it's just dynamite.
That's very clever.
Yep. So next thing is it was shop culture and people. So I've been to your shop. We did that Adventures in Apparel Decorating episode, and one of the things that I was really impressed with was the level of quality people that you have working for you, Justin. And I was just really happy to see that. Everybody, you could just tell they love to be there. They love to contribute. They really want and are very interested in making things work and to be the best that they can be. And I don't always see that. And so talk about building that culture and hiring the right people.
It's about listening. It's about change. It's about recognizing, do you want, people say turnover is expensive, and I've never really sat down and put pencil to paper to that, but I certainly can appreciate the idea, especially when you train somebody and you depend upon them and then they leave you, sometimes planned or sometimes unplanned, and then just restarting that cycle. That's a painful thing that happens within our business. But I think that what I have found is that has been the biggest thing that's moved the needle at our spot as far as adding to what culture is, or making people work like they like their jobs, or at least appear that they like their jobs whenever video crews or other people are around, is just listening and adapting and being sensitive and reminding people that their voice matters. And one of the coolest things that we have done that has been so it was so easy to do, and it's changing so much, is I have on our email account, I have set up that you can set up a thing called a catch-all. And what a catch-all is if anybody misspells or emails anything to Marshall, Alan and Marshall at oklahomashirtcompany.com, or Easy Way spelled with a Y or with an I, or Atkinson spelled with an ATKEN or IN any of those at oklahomashirtcompany.com, they all just come to me. And so if I have a salesperson's name that gets spelled wrong, or if they put, the only thing that screws us is if someone emails oklahomatshirtcompany.com, which we have that domain that it reroutes. But my point is with the catch-all is I just told in the group chat, well, it was a little more than that, but my team, we talked about having a way for employees to have a feedback system. And so I just said, yes, let them email concerns@oklahomashirtcompany.com. And their emails will just come straight to me, and I'll deal with it. And it'll give everybody an avenue to interact with me on a one-on-one basis. And my commitment was, if you send something to concerns@oklahomashirtcompany.com, then I'm going to address it personally. And I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to either bring in your manager or some other team lead to address this problem. And then we're going to treat it like a ticket, and we're going to resolve it. And what I found was there's so many people in our organization, and I think this is with any organization, communication, like what you were talking about when we want to storm the bridge. Communicating about the same idea in real time consistently is a really hard thing to get people to do. And so this concerns has been a thing that has added, I think, value and culture, and has given the people that have used it so far a voice. So a gal that works for us, her job is she runs a pad printing machine. And the pad printer, we have 3 pad printing machines, and 2 of them have these little like finger like screws up here that hold the plates down. And one of them doesn't, and it has manual screws, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. And that would never make it up the chain. I mean, there's 4 layers of leadership to get to me, let alone Jaron, let alone to like the people that need to make that happen. And so she just keeps doing this over and over. And finally I gave her an opportunity. So she just took a picture and she emailed me and said, hey, I don't know if this is a big deal. I've brought this up before, but I think it might've just gotten forgotten, but this would really make my job a whole lot easier. And I could go faster if we could just fix these 2 screws. And so then now that I had the tool, I was able to take that. I responded within like 2 minutes. And I said, thank you. This is awesome. I'm on it. Little heart emoji. And then I CC Jaron and I CC Jaron and then our 2 other team members. And I said, get this ordered ASAP and then update me when it's here. And Jaron was then able to say on it. And then he was able to prioritize it in his workflow. And then he was able to order these things that cost 75 cents each. And then they were shipped to us in the next couple of days. And then the package got there, and then someone got the package and got it to Gabby. And then Gabby was able to take it and get it installed. And then Gabby sent me a picture and said, hey, Justin, I know this isn't a huge deal, but I really appreciate this. I feel really heard, and this is awesome. Thank you. And all of that to get 2 screws in 1 pad printing machine, but yet it's that little stuff that often seems so easy to brush to the side or ignore and not pay attention really means the world to people. Every month, if I can do this, every one of you can do this. I buy lunch for every single one of my employees each month. We call it town hall. And yes, sometimes it's $200 or $300 to do that, but it's a good idea because we're all so busy and we don't ever stop. And also you're a screen printer and an embroiderer. So find all the restaurants in your town and say, hey, I'm doing something awesome for my employees. Can I make you 50 t-shirts and can you give us 20 pizzas? And they're like, yes. And it's great. And everybody feels good. And then you let them deliver it and take some social media content and say, oh, look, we love Mama Tig's Pizza. They're bringing this for us. And you can build culture. You just have to stop. Now, let me be clear. I have ideas. I don't execute. And you have to identify that too. I have a team of people like Tess is responsible for a lot of the, I will take credit for the culture. Tess gets credit for the consistency. Like it's one thing to like, if you have all of the ideas, but if you don't have the infrastructure and the ways to roll it out, it's the same with the shirt of the month product. Yeah. It's really easy to start a shirt of the month product. Month 1 through 3 is real easy. Month 4, 5, 6 sucks and it's a pain in the ass, but that's how you gain the confidence and build confidence in your customers and in your employees. It's consistency. It's consistency. It's consistency. If you pick one thing that you can do to improve the culture of your shop, you only need to do one thing. And if you will do it once a week or once a month and you'll do it consistently, you will see the needle move. I promise.
That's awesome.
That's right. Hey, and by the way, here's a great book for that. Traction.
That's a great book.
Wickman. Justin is the visionary, right? And people like me or Tess are the integrators. And you need somebody like that to hit those home runs for you. And you can do that if you've got people in place for that and you empower them to just do it. Right. And but you have to really communicate about what are the results that you want. So if you haven't read Traction, this is exactly the book I think you need, I was just talking about this with one of my coaching clients the other day, because they're all over the map with ideas, but nothing sticks. And what they need is the visionary doing his job and the integrator doing their job. And that way they can move forward with stuff and actually get things done. So
I loved when we were scheduling Justin for this show that, did you realize, Marshall, 2 days ago, we got an email from Test reminding us that Justin's on the show.
Yes.
Which I thought was great.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. So Josiah, by the way, says 175 referrals from 30 people, all owners and operators, office admin and staff, killer contacts. Local newspaper covered our story. We'll be sending out a referral boxes as soon as we have our lead magnet and value chain email subscription ready to roll. So when the new people get touched from us, the next steps for them are easy, clear, fun, and turn them into a customer. This is all about change. This is exactly what you guys need to be doing. Good job, Josiah. And he also says he landed an ongoing online store for a company of 1,800 employees from the box deal too, in sales that are killing it.
Great job.
And he's got to go. So thanks, Josiah. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Braden. Hey, Braden. I'm seeing Braden next week. So happy to be flying up there. We're filming another episode of Adventures in Apparel Decorating at his shop, doing laser engraved patches. So that's going to be lots of fun. We'll be looking to see Gonzaga moving up the food chain on the March Madness tournament, I'm sure. By the way, I picked them to win it all in my bracket. So anyway, he says we try to cater often, but we also do trade with one of our restaurant clients. So it doesn't cost that much. And then Ray said, when I ran D-Lab, we did an end of the month fiesta to celebrate that month's birthdays. I think that's really important.
Right.
I've done a lot of projects with building shop culture. A thing that really worked really well was doing with your management team, sending birthday cards to people. And we would have somebody put them, because I've run really big shops, and we would have somebody that would get the birthday cards, and we had an envelope, and we would sign all the birthday cards for that month, like 2 weeks prior to the next month. And that way they were mailed in time for the beginning of next month, and they would get those at their home, and everybody in the leadership team, signed their birthday card, and they had a little, gift card that was in it. And that was just a really great way to say thank you and get people excited about working where you work. Right. And
I love on the, on this story that this girl running the pad printing machines, like you said, Justin, those are 2 screws. In the big picture of what is Oklahoma Shirt Company, it's not up there high priority, but to her job and her life and her everyday, that was big.
Yeah.
And sometimes that shows that, I think what you did is just shows, look, you're more than just someone running a pad printer. Mm-hmm. You're not just an employee. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. And I think that was just awesome.
And it shows that you're listening and that you care. That's just fantastic.
Well, and it also showed too, because she actually said in that email too, do you know how much faster? Here's the time it's preventing me from doing. This is an employee that says, I'm just not looking to make my job easier. This is what it's costing you at Oklahoma Company. So,
right.
Great interaction.
That's good. And then Braden says, woohoo, go Zags.
Absolutely.
Greg's comment is, Justin Lawrence, great content for today. Love your comment that you are the visionary and others in your team are responsible for action. Good comment there, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
So let's get to the last topic here, which is about what do you see? So this is really about, Justin, this year, COVID, pandemic, emerging out of it, like a butterfly from the cocoon, the chrysalis, right? We're all going to come out of this differently than we went in it. What are you seeing just with what you're doing? I know you're opening your shop and doing stuff, but just as the industry as a whole, for somebody that's watching right now, what's your take on it? I'm very interested in that.
Yeah, I will say, don't waste this opportunity. if you've had the gift and the privilege of owning a business through this pandemic, make sure you are different on the other side. And if you found yourself just sitting on your hands and waiting for the world to open back up so that your business can come back, then first of all, you've already missed out on a lot of opportunity.
Yep.
You should, and if you learn no other lesson from this pandemic, then learn that. Keep your head up, don't put your head down, and look for opportunity. That's what got you here to begin with. You were an entrepreneur. Maybe you started your own business, or maybe you work with someone who started that business. You can help them be that too. I count on people on my team to help me look for opportunities and to make sure that we're remaining entrepreneurial. And when I find myself in times and spaces that I'm not being entrepreneurial, I know that I'm doing my job wrong. Like, I don't need to be doing the same thing over and over and over again because I don't do it well and I burn out on it. So find out what you're good at and make sure that you stay there. The other thing is like, if you are the same through this, then like I said, you have time. Look about how you need to be different. If this happens again next winter, that's a possibility, right? There's a possibility that this isn't over. Things are getting better,
Right.
but this may or may not be over. So how has your business been affected, and then what can you do? And Marshall, you have a book, an ebook out on this whole very idea right now.
Yep, moving
preparing.
Master. Thanks for plugging my book. Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
You bet, brother. And so just make sure that you are different. And so what I see is I think that I don't have an opinion yet on like hybrid printing, digital squeegee, all of those solutions, but I do know that things continue to point to that. And so direct to garment, there's an opportunity for direct to garment. Does everybody need to have direct to garment? No. Does everybody need to be experts at e-commerce? No. I will say your customers want you to leverage technology to make their job easier. At the end of the day, we all have to answer this question, specifically if we're talking about t-shirts. It's a pain in the ass to get a custom t-shirt. Like, it's a pain in the ass from the customer's perspective. And
Yep.
so I think you should ask yourself, after the pandemic and after even having a country that's divided, how much do we need to inconvenience, or how much can we inconvenience ourselves to make the t-shirt ordering process easier for the customer? If you can remove the barriers and if you can own all of the burden, which is how it should be, right? Like, you're the one that's receiving money, you're offering a service. So how can you take the burden of the pain of the assness and have a good attitude about it? One of my favorite industries is the tattoo industry. And most tattoo artists are shitheads and are the worst business owners in the world because all they do is bitch about their clients and they're inconvenienced by their customers, and they're just like, well, they should come to me, and like, like Donald Miller story brand 3 years ago, right? Like, the customer is the hero. You do everything that you can to make their brand and to make this person's life, because if you can create a memorable experience, they'll come back to you over and over and over again. And so the idea would be, shoulder all the pain of the assness. That's kind of what we're thinking right now. We're trying to revamp how even a customer places a shirt to get a quote. And so I think that our customers expect more from us, and they don't necessarily want to pay for it, and they want to be able to order their products and get them fast. So don't be mad at Amazon.
Right.
Don't be mad at Amazon. Just use Amazon as the golden standard. And how close to that golden standard can you get? Don't bet everything to get where Amazon's at, but just know that your uneducated customer has Amazon-esque expectations, and own what you can't do, but also strive to be faster for the customer.
Right. That's excellent.
Perfect.
Good comment. It's all about eliminating friction.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So you can keep, you've got a DTG on order, right? You're fixing to be delivered. When's that going to be delivered?
Either at the end of this week or early next week.
Right. So now you could have shirts stocked right there in a couple of colors, right? So some white, black, team color, whatever. So when somebody comes into the shop and needs a shirt, right, and you can bust out some artwork, or maybe they just want grandma's picture on it because it's her birthday, you can turn around that really quickly. And because you've got shirts there, you maybe have a template ready to go. You just kind of 2 + 2 = 4. You're done. it's an easy process, and they get what they want and they're happy.
And they think we're wizards. How did you just do that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's magic. I could tell you, but I won't.
Yeah. And then they could even, with the press in the shop, right? They could even watch it being made. How many I've been to a ton of restaurants where you could sit anywhere, but one of the premium seats is right there
Chef's
overlooking
table.
the kitchen. Right?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to see how the stuff's made and the fire going off on the grill and that kind of stuff. And that's always kind of a cool place to hang out. It's kind of the same deal,
Absolutely.
So, all right, cool. So what time? We got about 5 minutes left. So I'm really excited about this year. I've talked to lots of people, and I feel like right around the corner, right over there, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and we can almost see it.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Justin? Do you agree with that?
We are 20 feet from the finish line, and we need people to get vaccinated, and we need people to have their businesses be in a prepared way. And I think that there's a ton of pent up energy, and there are a ton of businesses that are ready to open, and there's also some confusion still. And so I think if you can stand there and be kind and be patient, but if you're ready, I think that all of the money and opportunity that a lot of us as decorators have missed out on in the past 10 months, I think is all going to come back to us tenfold in the next 3.
Yeah, I got vaccinated a couple of weeks ago, and I think, Alan, you just got it this week, right?
Yesterday.
Oh, right.
The first shot yesterday. Yep.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So, Justin, did you get yours yet?
Yeah, we're fully vaccinated, and I am open mouth kissing right now. Anybody?
All right.
Yeah, so I got mine through Walgreens, and my wife signed us up for the standby list, and with like 20 Walgreens in our area, and then one of them called, and we got in the car and ran right over there and got it. And doing the real way, with the doctor and the insurance company, that didn't produce any results.
Well, here in Michigan, none of the doctor's offices had them. They weren't even giving them. I don't think.
Oh,
There's
Jared, closing out.
What up?
Jaron, tell us some screen printing tips.
What kind of tips do you want?
Rapid fire with
What hot
Jaron.
tips?
Rapid fire. Give
Hot
us a
tips
hack.
from the
Go.
tip.
What is your favorite technique to use? What's your go-to?
Pre and post rolling bases. Pre-roll base and post-roll base for sure.
Absolutely. You're talking underbase.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Perfect.
Rolling, man. I love. I'm really finding a lot of mileage out of being really particular about the squeegee selection. That's really, really critical.
What are you, a triple durometer 70-90-70 guy?
We are. It depends on what you're trying to do. Sometimes it's single, if that's what it calls for. Sometimes it's triple. I really, really like a lot of the 60-90-60s for certain things.
Okay.
You're under for whites.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Are you sharpening?
Sharpening? No, we're not. We're feeling and we're consistently replacing.
Okay.
How consistent?
Yeah.
How
How
consistent
consistent?
are you?
Oh,
replacing?
how consistent?
Lie to him,
Yes.
Jaron.
Every
Week. Every
Every
week
single
we
week.
change our squeegees. That's how you get the best.
You
print.
lie. You lie.
Only
And I wish
30
I sold
newtons. We
squeegees
only
then.
use 30 Newton screens. That's it, right?
Yeah. Thin thread. Thin thread.
Only silk. Only silk thread.
Spider woven.
Spider
silk.
woven.
Yeah.
Organically
Great.
sourced.
Organdy. I just dated
Yes.
myself. Who remembers what that was? So, yeah.
Nobody, Alan.
No one. Richard Greaves does.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that. I'm a big one. I think the key on squeegees is you got to have a sharp edge.
Yeah.
But whether you sharpen them or whether you replace them, squeegee material is not expensive.
Not at all.
Get 'em
Jaron,
in-
what do you think about Easy Way?
It's the easiest way. It's the easiest way.
Yay.
Everything's the easy way. Go with easy way.
So, and how about this one? What was the last thing that you tried and failed at and you learned from?
the truth.
Water-based screen printing today.
Literally, we're down here trying to water-based print, and we are awful at it. We're not good at it.
What are you using?
Matsui.
Okay, have you called Jesse yet?
Not yet. Yeah. Yes. We are emailing Jesse, and Jesse has given us content. We are communicating with Jesse. Jesse got us our first set of inks.
You know what you're doing right, though? Most people jump into something new like water base, going, I want to get the water base. And they already have a 5-color job that needs water base, and they're going to try to do that.
Oh, don't kid yourself. We have a job down here that we have messed up 20 extra shirts on. It's a 2-color water-based job that we have to. Jaron was supposed to leave last night, and he's still here today because he has to take this job back with him.
Oh, God. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Call who does water base. Call Brett, have him do it and get the job out for you.
Brett doesn't know how to water-based print.
Don't send it to Brett then. I'll give you a name.
Well, great. Well, thanks, guys. We appreciate you. And I just want to give a plug to Oklahoma Shirt Company. Here is their website, right? And if you need anything, I'm sure Justin and his crew, Jaron, would really love to help you.
Yep.
And then also Shirt Lab Summit. Would love for you guys, if you're not registered, to get registered. It's free. Want you guys to get some education. And don't forget tonight, 8 o'clock at Eastern, we're having our happy hour, virtual happy hour. We'd love to see everyone there and kick back and have a beer and talk shop. And I think it's going to last longer than an hour. So I'm going to bring a little cooler up here to my office and just hang out and drink beer. So
Justin, real quick, tell us, you got to explain, tell us what Wild Boys are. Can you do that in a second?
Wild Boys is a state of mind. Wild Boys is independent of gender. Wild Boys is just do it. Just live that life. Just get out there and take it by the horns and get the most of it, and maybe get it tattooed on your ass.
Oh, I had no idea that was coming.
Wild Boys.
Way to go.
There you go.
Sometimes if you're a real wild boy, from what I understand, it happens on a lake too.
Yeah, Frank suggests calling Eric Solomon, by the way.
We are talking. Eric's a homie.
Eric can rock the water base.
Thanks, Frank.
Yes.
Great. Well, Justin, last time I saw you was at a trade show at ThreadX and at dinner with you and your wife and a bunch of people. It was a great time, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again soon. Fort Worth.
I think so.
So,
yeah, Fort Worth. I think that's shaping up to be a really fun trade show.
It's going to be fun.
I think that's going to be the big one for everybody.
And then we've got, that's going to be the 10th through the 12th of September, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then Sunday night is going to be Shirt Lab Fort Worth hangout at some bar we haven't picked yet. And then Shirt Lab Live Fort Worth Monday, Tuesday, 13th and 14th. So
awesome.
Marshall,
2 days of stuff.
Marshall, did you see what Greg Hitson just posted?
I did not.
We were talking about mesh. I don't know if do you know what that means? 10XX is a mesh. So before, I'm going to really date myself. Before monofilament, there used to be called multifilament, and it was threads that were wound together into one thread, and it was 10XX, 6XX, stuff like that.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, don't use that either.
Right.
Don't use that with silk. It's awful, but.
All right. So, Justin, what you doing this weekend? You water skiing?
Not gonna water ski. We might. I went and got the boat. So I've got as soon as I finish up here, I'm gonna go get the boat. We're gonna go to the house. We might put the boat in. We might go play some disc golf. It's kind of windy, but it's a little chilly. To be determined, though.
Right. So you're gonna let Jaron print while you go play disc golf. That's what an owner does.
Well, that's where I go, like cast vision.
Yep. Hey, that's your story. We're sticking to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. So I'll be hanging out, watching Shirt Lab stuff tonight. Got the virtual, and then tomorrow I'll be kind of doing stuff. We'll on our main Shirt Lab page. Please go and just leave a comment or stuff. And if you haven't joined Tribe, shirtlabtribe.com, get into the mastermind group. We'd love to see you there. That's pretty much it for me. You got anything, Alan, to wrap up?
Saturday's going to be busy for me. Everything I do in the weekends, I got to get done because I fly out Sunday to Phoenix, Arizona.
To Phoenix.
Yep. Where it's warm.
It is warm. It's 80. I ate out my lunch outside yesterday. I got a little sunburn on my nose here.
Unlike Michigan, I was way up in northern Michigan this week.
It was
Way
beautiful.
up at the top. So it was cold. So.
Yeah, 82, I think, 83 yesterday.
I won't
Gorgeous.
know how to act in the sunshine.
Yep.
So,
all right. Hey, Justin, don't go anywhere. We're just going to end the broadcast. Hey, thanks everyone. Appreciate you watching, and let us know if we can help you. Have a great weekend.
great week. Be safe. Be kind.